is here, and it is the last week in the month of September. We want to thank all our viewers and listeners for being part of us through the month of September. And I'm just truly Olanireti Olusegun, welcoming you to Newspaper Review this morning.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, Lagos and Ifako. Welcome to Newspaper Review.
Yes, without missing word, we want to start with the Punch newspaper, and this is talking about the most common, most rampant crisis that we've been having in the country. And the headline here, very alarming, says that marketers fear fuel price high as Pengassan strike begins. Marketers fear fuel price high as Pengassan strike begins. And the content of the story says that Nigerians may face tougher days ahead as the nationwide strike declared by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, beginning from today, Monday, threatens to unleash a twin blow of soaring petrol prices and widespread electricity blackouts. The unions are directed to halt crude oil and gas supplies to the Dangote petroleum refinery has sent shockwaves through the energy sector. With oil marketers warning of severe disruptions in fuel distribution, this move is expected to choke the domestic market, driving up demand and prices. I don't think life should be tougher than what we are experiencing already in the country. We are having achieved both left, right, front, and back, and we are only struggling to manage and hold up so that we don't go under depression. And this that the marketers are also introducing with Pengassan strike in the loom. Is it still in the loom, or it has begun already? Today is Monday, and they already set it in motion. We are making life unbearable for all Nigerians and for the nation at large. And this has been extended as well to power failure, blackout almost everywhere. Since yesterday, we've not seen light here in a part of Ifako, local government. And somebody told me this morning that they are rotating that blackout 2 days here, 2 days there, 2 days here, 2 days there. And that is a very negative.
So I think the good news is that the federal government made a move to work out truce between the Pengassan and the refinery. And because just like what Sheikh rightly said, that Nigerians are passing through a lot at this time, and I think that this Pengassan strike should also add to what is to the what has been ongoing with Nigerians, especially the economy.
They just want to compound our crisis.
So I think Pengassan and Dangote should try and seize their sword, because while driving across Lagos today, some marketers and petrol station closed down.
They already, that is a style. The moment they got a wind of this thing will happen, they capitalize on such opportunity at the expense of
Nigeria to make more money. So I think the should quickly step in. The Honorable Minister of Labour should step in, and of course the chairman or the president of Pengassan and his next member, and of course to Dangote himself. I want him to also tread softly, because this is another sector that he just come into, and you need to know what the terrain. You need to study that terrain, because we know that Pengassan. Because I remember when we were fighting for this democracy, when our leaders were fighting, some of us were observers on TV. Some of us even went as far back to Ikeja. I can remember in 1993, I went to Under Bridge Ikeja. Then, so you know that we had a new Ikeja. Then it was not like that.
A terrible sight.
And then to medical rooms. So I remember in 1993 I joined them. And so, but now I was out at the Pengassan. I don't mean the Dangote refinery, where we fought them is the sacking the Nigerian citizens that are working with Dangote refinery, and the issue, the allegation against them is that joining Pengassan. So I think that instead of sacking them and replacing them
They don't want
immediately
them to be
with
part
Indians,
of the union.
yes, I agree. But replacing them with a foreigner or just on the twinkle of an eye. So replacing them is where I have issues with Dangote
let's get it right. Sacking members of the organization or the employees because they are part of the union that is regulating the industry should not be. The Yorubas will say "Oribibe, follow Oribibe." You don't have to cut the head off because you're having an headache. There's nothing wrong with Dangote taking a stand that okay, this is my policy. I don't want you to be part of them, but they can sit down, resolve that amicably. We know institutions that will not allow. Tertiary institutions that will not allow the students to have a union organization. Though I don't actually subscribe to it, but because one must be able to defend his or herself as and when they. And for Dangote to say that, do they have skeleton in the cupboard? Why won't they allow them unless they have a genuine excuses or genuine arguments?
And another thing I'm looking at, when those people were being employed, was there a clause in the letter or what the sign, the agreement between two parties, between they and Dangote Refinery?
That is another.
They should not join. And if there's nothing like that, and even if there's such, I believe that joining a labor union is universal all over the world. So I think, but maybe the method in which they went to join is now the issue. But sacking the Nigerian certainly because this Dangote Refinery, some of us were the people that were celebrating Dangote because we believe that it's going to reduce the unemployment rate in Nigeria because we know that a lot of Nigerians and the citizens will benefit from that Dangote Refinery. And we can even see that it's not only Lagosians that are there, which can say, I remember during the interview, I saw a lot of people from the north, from the north and from the other part of the geopolitical zones were there. So, and I think even at that, I think that the residents of that place too were being employed at that time. So, and not sacking them, bringing these people, how do you want them to feel? How do you want them to feed their family? And even now that we have a crime rate that is increasing, do you also want to increase it? And now it will show that when that crime rate increases, I was so sure about the safety of your trucks.
You see, we're lamenting about some foreign organizations here, the way they are enslaving Nigerians. And if Dangote is saying, no, you can't be part of the union. And for that reason, he is now replacing Nigerians with foreigners.
Indians.
That's basically it is also a style of slavery. And I don't think it is something that we should entertain. The government also needs to look into this. If there is a space for that deliberation.
There will always be a space.
I hope so.
Because it should be Nigerian company.
Because it is that way. Because it is that way.
You understand? All right, I'm moving to the Nation newspaper, and I have this headline on the pages of the Nation newspaper. Breaking: Court declares part Utomi shadow government cabinet unlawful. Wow, shadow cabinet in its democratic setting of the federation. So
maybe when we get the content of the story, we'll understand better.
Okay. Restraining others from engaging in such unconstitutional activity. A federal high court in Abuja has issued an order restraining Professor Patu Tomi and his associates from proceeding with their plan to establish a shadow government / cabinet in the country. Justice James Omotosho issued the order on Monday in a judgment on a suit by the Department of State Service (DSS). Justice Omotosho declared the concept of shadow government or cabinet as unconstitutional and an alien concept to the nation presidential system of government. The judge held that Utomi and his associates cannot act under the right of association and to criticize the government to engage in unlawful activity. He commended the plaintiff for filing the suit and held, among others, that it was within the right of the DSS to take steps to prevent acts capable today threatening the nation's internal security. I think this is a very good one. I understand that a lot of things is not going the way that all people expected. But the issue is that now some of these policies that we are saying that the government of the day under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are policies that will last for is a long-lasting policy that last over the years because the economy that we are seeing today, they've decayed over the years. And so when something is decayed, you need to what? To renovate, to rebuild, to reconstruct. So I think that is what the government of the day is doing. But because it's not that too favorable at the moment, so some people, some of the allies that we have in our human rights activists, like Professor Patutomi has been there too over the years, even in the political setting of this country. He's also been there. He's one of the policy makers and he's one of the most respected, one of the few respected activists in this part of the country, though I think sometimes he also turned a politician. He aspired to become the president of the country. Yeah. And now bringing a shadow government, I think is unconstitutional to me. It's unconstitutional because it's kind of to me, it looks like an alien. Is an alien something to Nigeria. And of course, kudos to DSS for fighting. I think I respect DSS for taking this step to fight against Patutomi and his team. So, Shegun, what do you think about this? I don't think that it's right. It's not even at this point in time that they should bring it because you want to bring us back to, you want to take us back to 30, 35 years ago where we were then. You want to take us back then? No. We should be thinking about the solution.
Some people will call that conspiracy theory, and it is not something that we expect from the personality of Patutomi. You once said, you said earlier that he's a human rights activist. Pardon me, I won't want to take any politician to be an activist. Once you shift from that being an activist and you join a particular political party or you have ambition, you should relinquish that title of being an activist because your personality will change, your traits will change, your style and what have you will change. But this he has done is to an extent is unpatriotic, if you ask me, and if we are going by the law, then it will attract some level of Q&A. So on the part of Patutomi, this is strictly wrong. I condemn it outrightly, and I say kudos to the DSS for taking a stand. For Patutomi to be agitating for secret government, because that is what it amounts to, secret government and invisible system of government. That is wrong. We're in a democratically elected setting, and I see no reason why we want to halt or send the wrong signal to those that can hijack the system. So that is unpatriotic. He should know better, at least as a scholar.
Yes, as a scholar, he should know better. I think I like that, and I think Professor Patutomi and his associates should desist from such act because under this provincial system of government, and I think this is the very first time in Nigeria that since 1999 there have never been any shortfall or maybe military taking over. So this see that this can stand.
Most especially with what is happening in Africa, the military taking over.
The trend was especially in the West African coast. Now that we've seen Niger, we've seen in Ivory Coast, and the way it's going. So this may send a serious signal to the military. So,
and this is something
we don't want anything that want to truncate the democratic setting in Nigeria because this is the first time in the history of Nigeria that we've had it better since 1999 to date.
Uninterrupted democratic system. So, and this is something you dare not attempt even under military era. They had set up a tribunal immediately, and one can be sued for act of felony.
Yes, so that's act of felony.
It should not take.
So we should not take democracy setting. We should not take it for granted. So Patutomi and his allies should take it easy. And instead of going that route, they should go to the National Assembly and speak to the National Assembly and make their presentation and their case to the National Assembly.
What is the ground of argument? Why are they bringing?
It's not yet explicit on this, but all we know is that they are trying to set up this. No, but maybe as time goes on, so we'll be able to know. I mean, but Professor Patutomi, have access to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Maybe that was that. You see, the moment you belong to different political ground, different
but I don't see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because so far so good we've seen other people from political parties that are meeting with Tinubu.
Yeah,
even
he has shown to be
Lagos.
accessible. He has shown to be accessible. But what is the intent of Patutomi? These and many more questions that he needs to answer. Yes, I'll be proceeding with the Punch newspaper and another headline here say NNPC, NUPRC, NMDPRA short as Pengasan begins the strike. And that is the consequence of what we are talking about. The nationwide strike declared by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria on Monday paralyzed operations at key oil and gas regulatory institutions, including the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The industrial action, which followed the weekend, directed by the Union's National Executive Council, saw members across the country withdrawing their services, effectively shutting down critical agencies that drive Nigeria's oil and gas industry. So we are saying for every industrial action, there is always a consequence, and that will affect almost all the sector of the economy, which is a serious minus factor. When we are appealing to the Nigerian Medical Association that they should not go on strike, we appeal to us to not go on strike. We appeal to labor to not go on strike. Now this is the Pengasan in action. The TUC and what have you. They should talk to Pengasan. If there is a meeting point, they should do it as a matter of urgency. The government should also do the needful. There is a Dangote crisis as well. They should get involved and see how they can settle all this amicably so that they don't eat up the polity beyond what Nigerians can bear. Because sometimes when you chase a goat to the wall, when there is no movement forward again,
turn back.
Yes, and we need to watch it.
Yes, I think that's what we need to watch it. So we also need to appeal to NLC and the TUC to come in. I think the Honorable Minister for Labour and Productivity, has also set up a panel to also between the NLC and Dangote refinery. I believe that it should be resolved amicably. After the non-sector marketers, petroleum marketers, they should take it easy on Nigeria because I saw about 3 to 4 petrol stations that are shut down in Lagos. So I was surprised that just within how many hours and shut down just because to rip off from Nigeria. So
that's
Nigerians
just
and also Dangote refinery and Dangote refinery management should also tread softly. They should try and resolve this amicably and also to recall those that have been served due to this. So because this is Nigeria, the Dangote refinery is the choice of Nigeria, and I believe that no matter what, there should be percentage of people that will be employed, and I believe to be under the International Act, it should be over 60. It should be over 60. So 60 indigenous people should be indigenous of this country. So that sacking them and replacing them immediately, then that is sending a raw signal to us and to Nigeria that maybe there's an hidden agenda. There's an hidden thing that we are not aware of. So please let us do things clean.
And I think there's an update. The Minister of Labour has called for an emergency meeting already. But the question now is that whether dialogue can restore calm or whether Nigeria plunge deeper into crisis, which may deepen on the willingness of both sides to compromise. And I hope they will want to compromise for the betterment of the nation.
Yes. So now I'm moving to the Vanguard newspaper. The Vanguard newspaper is also an airline that touches Nigeria in general. So toxic harvest, hazardous pesticide and food production, export, So every year, over 362 million US dollars worth of Nigerian food export are rejected overseas because of pesticide residue. While back home, millions of people unknowingly consume chemicals that are already banned elsewhere. What were meant to boost harvest are now a slow poison, threatening well-being, food security, and Nigeria international credibility. So the Nigerian agricultural sector is facing a silent but dangerous crisis as there is rising apprehension over the severe impact of over-dependence on pesticide on Nigerian food production and export revenue, with the country losing over 362 million US dollars due to rejection of export. I think this is not a good news for Nigeria, so this is not a good news for us. So if Nigeria are losing over 362.5 million US dollars on export and over um, and yes, 362 million US dollars. I think this is not a good thing, it's not a good report for our agriculture, for our export. And we've been clamoring over the years that we should be a producing nation, we should be productive and be exporting. So not only feeding Nigeria, we should also export, and that way, of course, bring forests to the doorstep of every home and to Nigeria. And it will also help our economy to grow because we should stop because even on the Ifako radio, we've been clamoring that Nigeria should not just be a consuming nation, it should also be a productive nation. So I think Minister of Agriculture and the State House of State Commissioners in the agri sector should come together and fine tune and find a way about making this, because I remember I know some people that produce the tuber yam and they export it to the United Kingdom. So you can imagine after shipping things to the United Kingdom and getting there, it was rejected.
Yes, they should have done their due diligence before they buy. Now, let's look at it from different angles. Those that are exporting, are they farmers or they just business?
I believe that they are the middlemen.
Beautiful. Despite all odds, we need to consider all these things. If we are saying it is a loss, we should also be looking at the harm that this is doing to Nigerians. It is Nigerians that are cultivating all these crops, and they should. I want to believe there are NAFDAC approved chemicals, or should I say, yes, chemicals that can be used to grow plants. And those ones like paraquat, chlorophyrus, and atrazine, they said it is very hazardous and it is something we should do away with. And when they continue to use all these chemicals, it will have an adverse effect on the health of Nigerians. I'm not even focusing on the financial consequence. Seriously, charity, they say, begins from home. When you continue to harm your people here, those in the Western world, they're smarter. Their government is more active. I'm not saying our government is not doing anything, but we need to look inward. We need to go down deep. There are periods they will tell us. We've seen so many things on the social media. You see some people pouring cement on beans just because they want to preserve it. There's this banana that I cannot even eat. You see dot on it. Hardly will you see fruits within Lagos now. Yes, not basically planted in Lagos. Some people planted it somewhere, and they were grown by chemicals, and all these things,
and also being preserved by chemicals.
And that is crazy.
And these are hazardous to human health and very, very harmful. So I believe that in such a case, the Honorable Minister, we are calling on the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, and we're calling on NAFDAC, and we're calling on the State Commissioners on Agriculture. It's high time that you all should sit, even at the local government, the supervisor of agriculture.
Definitely.
So I believe that, and all policy makers and even the middlemen should come together. Let's talk what is the word. Now, the word that moved from the chemical that we are using. Maybe peradventure, maybe the chemicals are more cheaper, more economical.
That is crazy.
For the Nigeria farmers. So I think it's high time that.
Okay,
We
if they are
need to
making
go.
money at the expense of Nigerians' lives, what are we talking about? There is no doubt any serious-minded government will want to do what these Western countries are doing.
International community.
Yes, they will reject such import.
So
They
I
will.
think the honorable minister should look into this, and I think and all the players in the agricultural sector
Seriously,
should come
aside from the
together.
ministers, Nigerians should also be mind. We need to conscientize ourselves. Are we not doing harm to our people? Are we not defaming the nation itself?
And the farmers, we appreciate you doing the good work because without you we cannot eat. But if you are giving us what is poisonous and what is hazardous to our health, how will you feel? How will you feel your children or your grandchildren that are out there?
Your guys will say, "Olowo fowó ra kú." You use your money to buy death,
death.
and you'll be killing people gradually.
So I think
That's
that
so it's ironic.
let all the people in the agriculture
The players at
ecosystem,
large.
the ecosystem should come together and fight through this thing and discuss this thing and make the chemicals, the approved preserve chemicals or whatever thing they're using, they are proven globally, let it also be affordable. And not that when even if government make it affordable, not that the middlemen should not go and hide it or keep it in their storage houses and now be selling it to these people, to the farmer at more expensive rate. I think all those things should be fine-tuned in there.
I want to believe even governments, to an extent, they are also helping the farmers in a way, making available all these chemicals. But what matters is that it should get to the right hands, not giving it to political class or those that can trade with it in the long run. Yes, proceeding with the Punch newspaper, the headline says that Christians not endangered or marginalized. FG tackles critics. Christians not endangered or marginalized. FG tackles critics. The federal government has strongly rejected recent allegations circulating on international media platforms and by online influencers, which suggest that the Christian communities in the country are being systematically targeted in a religious genocide. In a press statement signed on Sunday by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, the federal government described the allegations as false, baseless, despicable, and divisive, adding that they present a gross misrepresentation of reality. Portraying Nigerians as security challenges as a targeted campaign against a single religious group is a gross misrepresentation of reality. While Nigeria, like many countries, has faced their security challenges, including acts of terrorism perpetrated by criminals, couching the situation as a deliberate systematic attack on Christians is inaccurate and harmful, Idris said. Idris, that is the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, negating an allegation that Christians in Nigeria are endangered and also marginalized. That takes us back to the issue of insecurity in the country. Once the issue of insecurity is tackled and Nigerian can go to bed with their two eyes closed, nobody will be alleging of what is not, even if it is not happening or it is happening. We cannot say for sure now, but a lot of people are lamenting. And once you're a victim, you can claim you have been targeted. We have some regions or some particular, the Middle Belt, for instance, they've suffered these times without hand. Over and over. You recall that church in Ondo State that was also attacked while service was going on. Lives.
And a lot of them in the two states.
Yes.
A lot of that in Benue State.
Most important.
A lot of that even in the northeast. Even at the mosque and at the church, on the street, in the market.
Yes, it happens everywhere. But you see, when the government is not acting fast, a sect can stand up and say we're being marginalized. Even the Western world, international communities can speak for these people. What really matters. I also appreciate the fact that the Minister of Information acknowledged the fact that we have security challenges in Nigeria, and this is one of the promises made by the present administration when the president was mentioning that it will be a thing of the past, and it is over 2 years now. I want to believe and to appeal that the time is now. The issue of insecurity must be laid to rest.
Because the purpose of governance is to survive our community. So I think the government and other security, all security agencies, either it's the military or the civilian or the JTF, and of course everybody must be, all the eyes must be on deck to provide security for Nigeria. So, and that takes me for the last. I'm going for my last review on the pages of newspaper today, which is the Nation. Nigeria sacrifice sees paving way for economy renewal, says federal government. Nigeria sacrifices paving way for economy renewal, says federal government. The federal government has said the sacrifice Nigerians are making today are paving the way for economic renewal, stronger institutions, and improved conditions in all sectors. The government, through the SGF Secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, said today gains are from the bold reform that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration has been implementing to ensure not temporary relief but lasting transformation. The SGF spoke at an interdenominational church service at the National Ecumenical Christian Center in Abuja as part of activities to mark Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary on October 1st. Yeah, congratulations, Nigerians. 65 on October 1st. We secured independence from Great Britain. So I think 65 years old is not a child's play. So I think the SG about that admonished Nigerians that today pain is going to be gain. And I think there's a popular song that no pain, no gain by Bob Marley. Of them, there's a memory.
So one of our musicians also used those words. I think that is the two-face. He used those. No, nice.
Nice.
In one of his lyrics.
So I think the SGF is just appealing to Nigeria.
But I hope the game will not be coming later than expected. That is where Nigerians are.
Because in Yoruba language, in my language, they say Ireti Pipe or man far away. So
when an expectation tarry beyond necessary, when we continue to get weary, so they have to be weary.
So Nigerians are worried. So SGF, we know that the federal government is trying to make one policy or the other to make Nigeria a better place. But once it's been delayed, Nigerians are human.
On the part of the government, the fact that they also acknowledge that Nigerians are sacrificed is a plus. But for those occupying offices up there, are they also making the same sacrifice that Nigerians are?
So when we're saying that the federal government, are we talking about the president? Let us divide it. Because now, let's separate it. You said that the federal government. Now, that is the presidency. The SGF is the office of the presidency. Now, we also have people at the federal arm of affairs, the minister, the DGs, we have the state government, we have the National Assembly, we have the state of assembly. So where you are now going is that to those people that are occupying that political offices, they also feel.
Yes, are they feeling the pain that Nigerians are feeling? Are they also making such sacrifices? These and more questions that Nigerians will want to ask them. Because if we're saying gains will come. Some people are dying. Some people are not getting their retirement.
They can't even eat one square meal a day.
That is it.
Because now, to be sincere,
and you see a public office holder going in a convoy when we cannot even afford to fuel our cars
of SUVs.
So what are we talking about?
And we don't understand
how
to maintain SUVs. No, I'm not saying that office does not come as its own luxury. Yes, they come with about, I think.
But we can
in such a way we can reduce it.
We should cut our coat according to our clothes.
Not according to our suit now. According to our clothes. And at the same time, the government should also look inward. We need to cut some of the expenses. Some of the unwanted expenses. We know that if we are supposed to go with a convoy of 30, you can downsize it. You can be downsized to 15.
Where are they going? Why 15? Let's be realistic. We do economic hardship. Why 15? Where are they going?
In the bank. No, you can never.
Okay, let's assume you're going with your press. Press, how many months you have a luxurious bus that can accommodate that?
You have the
Take
medical
your
team.
security. You see, we need
You have
more
security
than
personnel.
five.
You need security personnel.
Yes.
So for those that are no, for those, okay, let us downsize it now. For those that are occupying executive office, and the executive office we're talking about Mr. President and the Vice, and we're talking about Mr. Governor and the Deputy. So, and if you're looking at that, so I think if we want to be realistic with the setup of economy that we have, so I think we know that I cannot mention the level of vehicles that security apparatus.
You and I saw someone do not quite long on the island.
Yes.
And we saw the convoy. It was minimal.
It was minimal.
And that was
so I give it to him.
And that was ideal.
And there was no siren. And it was just driving like it was just going like every normal human being. So, and I've even come across the one of the deputy governor.
So once the governor
his convoy is 4. I was surprised to see his convoy 4. I was that's the deputy governor of Lagos in 4. And I think 4. And I've seen him into even 3 sometimes. 4, 3.
That is reasonable. That is reasonable.
Yet you see some people that are occupying even at the National Assembly that you'll be counting 15.
Yes, I won't mention them. That was some years back. I stumbled on this high-ranking member of the National Assembly, and I counted like 17 vehicles, both luxurious and SUVs and what have you. That is crazy.
And also, not only that, even we understand that we need bilateral relationship with the international community. We need to save costs. We need to cut some of these our expenses traveling. I think it will be better this time around. Let's start inviting them, because with all those policies, yes, we market Nigeria and we keep marketing Nigeria all over the world. So I think it's right that let them start coming in. Let's start hosting them in Abuja, in Lagos, in Calabar, in Kano, in the 36 states of the Federation. Recently, I was co-opted into E1 project that Lagos State is handling. So just the way we have the carries international, we also have the boat race. So, and I think over 300 Lagos State has really under the leadership of Baba.
It's the first time we'll be having such in Lagos.
So not only Lagos, in Nigeria, in West Africa. So E1 and this man, and you know over 300 international sportsmen, I don't even know what they call them, that are involved into this boat race. They started arriving in Lagos. And you know, the good thing I saw about this is that it has also some of the policy that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have implemented has given way for those people like Dr. Baba Sanwo-Olu to also tap into it and also, okay, we are hosting this. And now, I think the program is starting. Where's the authority?
So we should also look at the benefits of all this to Lagos and Nigeria at large, so that if we see benefits in it, some other time we want to embrace it. We even want to encourage the government to bring it on and on and on again. And I'll be taking my last paper from the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune. The headline here is Political 2027, Jonathan will contest for presidential seat under PDP, Jerry Ghana. That is coming from the Nigerian Tribune. 2027, Jonathan will contest for presidential seat under PDP, says Jerry Ghana. Former Minister of Information and a prominent member of the PDP, Jerry Ghana, said former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan will contest the 2027 presidential election on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. Professor Jerry Ghana disclosed this during a recent interaction with journalists over the weekend at the party's state congress, held at the state's secretariat of the party in Minna. Ghana noted that the political landscape in Nigeria has shifted since Jonathan's previous tenure, saying in 2015, former President Goodluck Jonathan made it clear that his ambition was not worth the blood of any Nigerian. Since his departure, the nation has witnessed various leadership styles and the contrast has become increasingly evident. He added that the electorate is now calling for Jonathan's return, signaling a desire for renewed leadership. That's a strong one. Calling for Jonathan to to run for presidency. I think Jonathan once responded that he has played his part, he has done his bit, and presidential ambition for him is over. But a situation whereby a particular political party continue to re-emphasize that they need this person, yes, they may need him indeed. But does that mean there are no other politicians in the PDP? Does that mean there are no prominent personalities that can run again in the PDP? This is giving serious concern. Or they want to compel Jonathan. It is one thing. If you are not a willing vessel, I'm afraid. Call to service is one. Another thing is that, are you willing? But from what I've gathered recently, and it was also discussed here on newspaper review, in accordance to the stories that we saw in Nigerian dailies, that Jonathan himself responded that he is done with the presidency, he is done with presidential ambition, he has paid his dues and he's not going back. We only need to support those that are there to continue to move on. But what is the problem? Is it the PDP? Is it that they don't have political personalities that can raise the standard of the party?
I think, politicians, the way we are, will continue. They have this strategy of bringing someone, maybe they just say, oh, this person is marketing, so we can use it.
And if that person is not willing and he failed to perform in office, there must not be any complaint.
There will still raise complaint. There will always be complaint. And one thing is that you root somebody to become so. And there's another thing there's another aspect for the man to compensate you. And if the man does not compensate, you know what happens? You start following the other route that, oh, his policies are good, no, are bad. His policies are not too good. He's not too favorable. He's not this and that. That is typical of Nigeria.
And for Ghana,
and I think we should desist from such acts. And if good luck, they blame Jonathan, the former president, refused to aspire or contest, let him be. I don't believe there's somebody out there. There are some youth, there are some young men and women that are also very good. Look like when Shiwaju brought in Raji Fashola. At that time, we have big names that I want to mention. And
Fashola has gone down in the history of Lagos as one of the best governors Lagos has ever produced.
He is. So, and I believe that there's still somebody out there. There are some young, out of 230 million Nigerians, there are still young people below 40, after 40, or even in their 50s, but that can govern this nation right.
You know what? Jerry Ghana is emphasizing on the fact that some Nigerians are calling for the return of Jonathan. I just want to make it clear for the record. I am not one of those Nigerians. Jonathan, yes, during his days, he did what he could. But if Nigerians are calling for Jonathan, we are the Nigerians. Can't they come out to declare publicly that they really need him? But I don't know if you're one of those people that is calling for the return of Jonathan. Somebody that
I am not.
He has left office.
I am not.
Late former president Muhammadu Buhari was there for 8 years. Asiwaju 2 years plus now. That is over 10 years. So somebody that left office over 10 years ago, calling him to come and occupy this, did he forget something?
That's always my question. I do ask a lot of people, what did you forget? Okay, even some of us that we had the honor and the privilege to serve even at the grassroots, I keep telling them that I know I did not forget anything there. But if I'm called to serve, I have other aspects that I can serve.
Different capacity.
So not on that same capacity. People are saying that come and say, for what? I'm not interested in it. There are other places that are.
That's it.
So I think Nigerians and Nigerian politicians, Professor Jerry Ghana, Professor Jerry Ghana, you are one of the people. David, I'm speaking personally on the faculty. You are one of the people that admire your policy and your political university at that time. And because you've been there, because Jerry Ghana, I remember that you aspire. He was one, you remember him as ambassador. he was Nigeria. In fact, I believe that is the longest serving ambassador that Nigeria ever produced. I cherish him, I love him so much, but I don't think that he should be the one to be calling for
Yeah, and all these your professors. At first,
it was Patutomi. But you know that when we are much younger, these are the people that we see on the pages of the
but now
newspapers.
you're seeing them in another light.
Yes, because then it was military. We have a lot of military government at that time. Who are you to go to the military camp?
It is when people like this occupy the center stage that you see their negative
That's
side.
true, and their true color. So I think these are people, and I believe I'm not the only one. A lot of Nigerians also celebrated you at that time, most especially in the 80s.
And we want to continue to celebrate them, so they should not be giving us what
I remember the roles that you played to make sure that we have this democracy that we're enjoying. So I believe that there is still somebody that you have gone through your tutelage that you can also market to Nigeria.
God bless you. God bless you.
So I think that will be.
They should look inward. We also need fresh blood. Those that have the spirit